bloom, huh? Yeah. Oh. Ooh. Yeah, so Epstein files. So Epstein files. Like I know the people are the Epstein file mentions, like Elon Musk. Okay, so he has a particular email between him and Elon Musk and Jeffrey Epstein, and it's like, yo, man, when's the big party going down on the island, baby? Yo, when's the big rave happening, honey? Yeah, it's not very damning. It's just, hey, man, where's the big party happening? When we going down to the island and party woo? When we gonna go to the club? Dance with the babes? Woo! Yeah, good times, baby. Oh, I don't know. It doesn't really prove anything, so. Yeah. You got those. It's not like it says, you got those underage girls ready for me? It's not like it says that in there. So the Epstein files, are the people in them? Are they arrested? No. I mean, Jeffrey Epstein, Ghislaine. Jeffrey Epstein is dead, and then Ghislaine is in prison. I don't know what she's trying to get out of there because she's in there is it for life? For child sex trafficking and grooming? Among other sex crimes. High crimes and misdemeanors. Now, it's reported that it's kind of bandied about that Trump's going to let out P. Diddy, Sean Combs, the diddler, another depraved individual. So that does a lot of orgies and sex parties and humiliation parties, probably satanic worship, everything. So he's involved in every kind of criminal enterprise you could think of under the sun. So, yeah. No, I don't think. I think it would be disastrous for Trump's presidency if he pardoned Ghislaine Maxwell or Sean Diddy Combs. I think that would be. I think most of his advisors tell him, "Don't do it. Don't do it. Your legacy will go down, the toilet." And so, yeah, that would be an ill-advised move to free Ghislaine Maxwell or Sean Combs. So really, really bad move politically for his legacy. So.
So I think that the purchase history, the DNA, look, they clearly swung and missed on the DNA first time around because if they had gotten any worthwhile DNA, you will be able to say things like, okay, the person's ancestry comes back to Northern European male who has this color eyes, et cetera, et cetera. Good DNA can do that kind of thing. So I think at least the initial blush of DNA that they reportedly found hasn't gone where they wanted, but there's other DNA in the mix here. There's always the familial DNA that we talk about. And then the last thing, and I really want this out on the ops desk on my website, is if you can get somebody to come forward, and that's what the award is so possible. So it's important, excuse me. It's possible you can get somebody in the edge of this.
Why is Ghislaine Maxwell not dead? Well, I'd estimate she's not the lead extortionist, that she's not the lead blackmailer. So I suspect that Jeffrey Epstein was killed because he was threatening to extort. And, powerful people don't really like being threatened. Bill Gates or the Clintons, Prince Andrew, royal family member. These elite people don't really like being threatened. So, Ghislaine Maxwell trades her silence for her life, just for the ability to still exist, is basically why she's still alive. So this is some good old-fashioned human built-in biological instinct, which is called self-preservation. So she saw what happened to her daddy, her sugar daddy, and she doesn't want that to happen to her. Oh yeah. After all the older people are dead, like the Clintons, will she dare to release a memoir or something when she gets out? Or, I don't know if it's life, does she get out at some point? Is it like 20 years, 30 years? If she's still alive, is she going to write a juicy book or something? I don't know. But to survive in prison, you have to basically be well hard, and you gotta to live a long time. It takes a lot of discipline to live a long time. So. Hey. Hey, I love you, Tuna. Okay, we're gonna make that breakfast time. Okay. Mom comes back today, and we might get some cassoulet ole quesadillas. I know. The most exciting thing in my life is getting some quesadillas. It really is. It's really what I look forward to. So. If there's one theme that's constant in my life, it's not exactly, necessarily beer or coffee. I think it's, I think if there's one consistent theme, it's my love of the Tex-Mex. So. What's the future of the diddler? Sean Combs, Puff Daddy, P. Diddy. What's the future of Diddy? Well, he once again beat the rap. so he didn't get certain charges that would have locked him away for 10, 20 years or life. So far he's been able to get away with endless sex orgies, prostitution, human trafficking, weapons charges, drug charges. So far, his billionaire status has been able to buy him freedom, but now his $1 billion empire has shrunk to like 400 million or less. So it keeps shrinking. The more he tries to get out of his criminal activities, the decrease in his wealth occurs. So Sean Combs is able to purchase his freedom so he can do more degenerate activities, but at a great cost. And he's getting older. So either he's going to have a really tragic ending, he's going to die on a drug overdose or suicide, or he's going to mess with the wrong people, or he's going to like find Jesus and get clean, which is probably the most unlikely outcome. I suspect P. Diddy is going to have a tragic outcome with weapons and gunfire, stabbings. It's going to be bloody. It's going to be, he's going to beat up the wrong person. They're going to come back and kill him. It's going to be a real nasty one. So, if he comes out with the cross and is like, praise Jesus, and he's all, he's like real clean and sober, and he's really had a, if he's, I don't think he's really going to change because he has no real incentive to. So. Get some bacon going on this morning, and some grits, Insta grits. So Sean Combs got off pretty easily because he was a billionaire, and he could beat the rap, for now. And so, what does that mean? That all the raps and all the depraved activity that he used to be engaged in, or he might engage in the future? Does that mean, he'll never do anything bad again? That's, to me, that's highly unlikely. Got bacon going on. Here we go. So mom's probably bringing in quesadillas. Good old chicken quesadillas from Casa Ole. Yeah. Casa Ole. Yeah, it's, I don't know, we're kind of attached to Casa Ole because it's a long-time Tex-Mex restaurant in Texas, I believe. Primarily, I think. And Casa Ole is like, it's just, like, I always have great memories of it, and the food tastes even great. Maybe it's the same formula from my childhood. It just tastes wonderful. So I do have a deep connection with Casa Ole, not because I work there, not because my parents worked there or anything, but my mom did work for a Mexican restaurant when I was a kid, so at this Lunas Mexican restaurant in Baytown, the Jennifer Garner, the infamous Lunas Mexican restaurant in Baytown, Texas. Yeah, now, having gone to kindergarten in Baytown back in the day, I know that it's unusual to have girls that hot coming from Baytown. So, like Jennifer Garner, that's kind of unusual. But, to typically Baytown ain't banging out hot dime piece babes like that, as pretty as she is, you know. Shootston continues. Yeah, it's mostly. It seems to me that people dying on the Houston streets. It's mostly not white people. It's mostly like Mexicans and black people, and it's normally people maybe affiliated with gangs and drugs. Hey, Tita. And the people dying in Houston, Texas are not usually often minorities, but they're also people that are like teenagers, 17 to 22, like real young and stupid. And so older, the difference between the hot-headed 19-year-old and then somebody my age, 45, is a very distinct one. When you're 19, maybe you think time is unlimited, and you also think that you'll never get hurt. You're 10 feet tall and bulletproof. So that is one of the differences between like being 45 and 19. Older people know they can get hurt, and they can get hurt real bad. And so all the young people aren't getting the message that, man, you can get hurt really bad. You could die. And so the meteorologist Travis Herzog on ABC 13 is like, dude, why are we talking about aliens? Oh, Barack Hussein Obama backed away from the aliens. Are they getting ready for a psyop where there's an alien invasion or something? Or what's going on here? I mean, I know the midterm elections are going on. You had the plague, and then you had the SPX scandal, Somali fraud in Minnesota, and now you had the cryptocurrency fraud by the Democrats to secure power in 2022, so they didn't lose the House and the Senate. Did they keep? I think they kept the Senate, but they lost the House, right? Yeah, that's what I think happened. Unless they were able to keep, I don't think they were able to keep it all. So there's only so long a party can keep a stolen government. We're gonna get that bacon in here. We lit some candles. Get the cigarette smoke out of here. We got coffee and we have eggs. It's gonna smell real breakfasty. And So what? Or it could just be an ex-president trying to get some buzz on a podcast talking about aliens. So it could just be. Sometimes some people get older and they're like, "Hey, I'm still alive. I know I'm retired." Maybe they even live comfortably like the Obamas do, and maybe elite life gets boring. Yeah, and some people might say, "How could it be boring being wealthy and having all the finer things and being able to afford everything? How could that ever get boring?" Maybe it does. Maybe marriages get boring. Maybe the kids leave, and by the time the by the time the married couple is in retirement, right, maybe by the time the kids leave and they're like 50, 60, shit gets boring. You gotta spice it up with some aliens. So the Democrats haven't tried the alien hoax, alien invasion, like Orson Welles, War of the Worlds. So there you go. Will there be an alien crisis? There'll be a War of the Worlds alien crisis. The Democrats are like, oh shit, bring forth the aliens, the alien crisis. They're like, damn, we're not gonna win the control of the Congress. Unleash the alien hoax. Yeah, that would be pretty funny if that's what it was. Because you can't do the same trick every time. Because if you do the same trick every time to steal government power, then the public's got to figure that out. So it's got to be some different crisis every time, right? Can't be the same one. Oh. Does Allison, the sexy blonde babe, return to Jeopardy today? I think so. I don't want to incinerate it. So. Yeah. No, I called my aunt and uncle's house the house that never slept because they have like, I don't know, is it 3 to 4 dogs? They used to have my cousin Nathan until he got a girl and got a job and they moved to Reno, Nevada. He got a life, I guess, or something. So, yeah. All right. And then my cousin Travis is trying to get a life, moving back home where he grew up in Austin. I think he's almost 30. He's still having a dream of becoming a rock musician or something like that. So, what's my cousin Travis's occupation? I guess you could call it farmer. Yeah, so he works on farms, and if he has like a trade or occupation, you call him farmer. So, farmer, hippie, rock musician. Before 30, trying to be a rock musician is a difficult proposition because, people, if you're 30 and your job is just kind of people are going to say, man, you need to go to school. You need to go to trade school. Man, you need to get your shit together. That's what most people are going to say. Like, if they find out you're a certain age and you have a crappy job or you have like a wage slavery or you're just barely getting by, like whatever, however many Americans are just barely getting by paycheck to paycheck, then some genius is going to come up and be the Mike Rowe and try to straighten you out if you're a guy. Oh man, you need to go back to trade school. And like, I guess some of these people don't know, well, where's my magical money that I need to go to these schools? Like, well, don't you need money to go to school? So like, I would love to go shopping, but we need something first called money. Like from National Treasure, Riley Poole. Yeah, Benjamin, I would love to go shopping, but we need something first called money. Yeah, that's one of my favorite parts of National Treasure. Justin Bartha, that was hilarious. But I know some people are like always like, man, you need to do this, so you need to do that, and they're giving out their advice. But the deal is, You need money to do stuff. All right. But when I lived, or my mom lived with my uncle Larry, Julie, and Travis and Nathan, I called it the house that never slept because my uncle wakes up in the morning like 5 in the morning to go to work. Okay. So my uncle is hardcore ever since he was 15, waking up at 5 in the morning and going to go fix appliances every single day for the last since 1970 for at least 50 years. He's done the same routine and he's made a good living. And okay, and then my aunt is kind of on a different schedule, kind of a more sane schedule. Maybe stay up, watch some TV, and then she takes care of my grandma in a hospice who's had 2 strokes, so that occupies a lot of her time because grandma always needs something because she's constantly in pain and she can't provide for herself. So, because that's just the way it is. And okay. Now, a lot of people, they don't want to give up their dream of rock and rolling or being a musician. And so Travis might be in that state where he's not talented enough to, navigate the current musical landscape. And increasingly he's not young enough to do it. So he's kind of in that rock and the hard place. You can become like the house band in an Austin dump, and you could dye your hair green and be that. Just entertain people on drugs or people drunk. And there's tons of bands like that in Austin with blue hair, and there's no shortage of those guys that play at the pizza shop, but you don't really get anywhere financially. Robot ninjas. Robot ninjas. Wow. Robot acrobatic robots. Ninja robots. That's kind of like the plot of RoboCop 3 or something. There's a RoboCop, he fights a ninja. Like a mecha ninja, a robot ninja. It's basically like RoboCop 3. That's actually really good, man. These robots are getting good. So you gotta worry when the robots get good. The robots. Well, do you think guys, if they could afford to get robots, if they couldn't get any ass, for whatever reason, they couldn't get any punte, that they would result to robots? You know, that's nasty. No, I think in Houston, Texas, they outlawed sex robots because they have them in Japan. Oh man, I can't get no robots. I can't get no rose sluts. Yeah, can't get no robots. Yeah. It is really like the dystopia. Imagine trying to fight a robot ninja. That'd be, pretty hard because they're like metal, and so it'd be like fighting the Terminators. Yeah, or I guess you would just need more EMP weapons. Short circuit the robot. Yeah, I guess you need more like energy weapons. So you have to get high tech real quick. When Nick Shirley went out to Skid Row, and he's talking to the black guy, and this is like 26 years later. When he's talking to the black guy, he's talking about population control, and that's why they give us expired food. And he's talking about the elites want to depopulate the earth. It sounds exactly like that dystopian video game, that famous one called Deus Ex. And there's a guy that you rescue like in the first mission. And he talks about the elites and population control. And actually, they flagged my video on YouTube for even talking about the plot of Deus Ex, because the plot revolves around, there's a plague called the Gray Death, and if you start talking about plagues and then they want to shut, even if you're talking about like a fictional plague, they want to give you a community guidelines of disinformation, misinformation strike, or whatever, even if it's not even real what you're talking about, even if it's from a movie or a video game sometimes. Is it time for is the babe coming? Is the hot blonde babe? You got to record this episode. Allison's back. Is Allison back? Allison, my aim is true. That's Leonard Cohen? Yeah. Oh, she's back. Not my face, but da-na-na. Yeah, she's like that weird combination. She's like really beautiful, but she's also really smart and nerdy. So it's kind of weird because she's got that nerdiness, but then she's got that like super sexiness too. So it's like the best of both worlds, all rolled into one. That's very interesting. Now that's a jet party. Yeah, I was trying to do like the last time Saturday Night Live was funny is when the guy's looking at the black girl on the Star Trek set, and he goes, "Now that's a Star Trek." He looks at Uhura's butt or something. He looks at the black girl's butt. Now that's a Star Trek. It did not deserve to be as funny as it was, but it was that actor just made it funny. Now that's a Star Trek. Looking at the black girl's ass, I was like, "This is fun. This is funny, actually. This is good." But that was probably from Saturday Night Live that's probably from 10, 15 years ago or something. Okay, so what do we do here? Well, this is the little strategy. You put the egg on the egg. Egg on egg. Blonde on blonde. So, is that a Bob Dylan album? Egg on egg. So you can make it excellent. So they kind of blend together, Not always perfectly, but hey, y'all need to be. Fortune favors the bold. Yes, of course. What is 12 Monkeys? Oh, man. Yeah, 12 Monkeys is, 12 12 monkeys. Yeah. Put some. Oh well, it's for my dog, so it doesn't need to be peppered up that much. But Sergeant Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band. Ding 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 ding. Eggs, bacon, and then activate instant grits. Yeah. So I called it the house that never sleeps because my aunt would be up at different times. My cousin Nathan might stay up all night and play games or watch movies. And then my cousin Travis would be playing guitar real late and staying up late. Playing games or probably playing guitar. Trying to create that infamous rock and roll band that will change the world or something. And then, if my uncle David was there, out there in the Texas Hill Country, and if it was me and my mother, I mean, it's like literally the house that never sleeps because someone's always going to be up. Yeah. It's kind of like with my mother there and my grandmother, it's really like the house that never sleeps again. So. Yeah. It's because everybody has radically different sleep preferences, right? So. Radically different schedules. So. I guess. My Uncle Larry is 10 years older than my Aunt Julie. So basically, they have a 10-year age gap. The gap will become evident very soon. So my aunt is taking care of my grandmother now after 2 strokes. She might be taking care of her husband too eventually. So, actually, why my aunt is a perfect caregiver is because she used to be a nurse at a hospital. So even though she's not technically a hospice, she is a nurse. So it does make her, even though she's not getting paid to take care of relatives, really, because it's an act of love taking care of your own. But yeah. Well, my grandma's death has been slow, agonizing, and painful, and so maybe not everyone's death is going to be slow and painful and agonizing, So I suspect that not everybody's death is going to be long, agonizing, painful, tedious. Maybe some people's death will just be, and they just fall down the stairs and bust their ass. Yeah, so some elderly people's death is going to be quick. People mentioned in the Epstein files. Oh, here's the dream right here. You know what she's like? She's like a blonde Janine Garofalo. This is what she looks like. A blonde Janine Garofalo. Who knows? Some of these girls are so good at pretending to be blonde because they dye their hair blonde to look sexier to attract mates. And so she could be a natural blonde though. But some of them, some of the chicks are so sexy that they're brunettes, so they just dye their hair blonde, and you think they're like Pamela Anderson, that they were born that way. But because the hair dye is so good. Yeah. Sometimes it's a shock when you think that a girl's a really sexy blonde, and then you're like, what? She was a brunette that entire time because you couldn't even tell. So because she looks so hot as a blonde that yeah. I think dyeing the hair blonde is a trick that attractive women can pull off well, but unattractive probably not. It probably doesn't help all that much if you're already unattractive, right? So she might be natural though. I don't know. I have a perm from the 1980s. I love it. Yeah, that's pretty cool. Jamming rocking a perm in 2026.